We have a lot to cover in this video, so let's jump right into it. In this video, I'm going to talk about 10 hacks in the Uber driver app you probably didn't know. Number 1, earnings privacy mode. So if I go to the top, I can see how much money I've made so far. And if I click it, and then in the upper left, I see an eye, and I click that eye, you can see, boom. Now you can't see how much money you've made. If I click it though, again, I can easily see it quickly, but once I back out, I'm in complete privacy. I think this is good for 2 different reasons. One is for you personally. Like there's been some times I'm driving where I almost want it to be a surprise at the end where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to drive for, the morning commutes or evening commutes or Friday or Saturday night. I know I'm going to drive for 5 hours no matter what. And it's kind of like a fun surprise at the end of it, I guess. The second thing is there's also more of a privacy for you, for other people potentially seeing it, right? Again, this depends person to person, but let's say you have the app pulled up and the passengers in your car can see how much money you've made like this, and it says like, I don't know, $100. Some people might want that to be private, so when you do this, no one can see anything until you click that icon. Number 2, navigating to the surge. This is an excellent feature, because as you can imagine, the surge pockets are usually going to be the best places to make the most amount of money where there's a lot of traffic and a lot of people ordering Ubers. And if I scroll out on my phone, I'm not going to lie, right now, at least the exact time of this recording, not too many surges. I mean, very, very minimal. But what I can do is go to any one of them. So let's say this one by Santa Monica looks like. I can click it. And then boom, immediately I get some information about that surge pocket. And I can click Start Navigation to drive to that surge area. Number 3, recording audio. This is a phenomenal feature I think every Uber driver should use in their Uber driver app. It's free, very easy to use as well. First thing I'm going to do is go to the bottom left hand and click that blue shield. Once I do, I have this right here, record audio, the second one, record audio during the trips. Now, I've already enabled this. I've already done an entire dedicated video about this. I have it listed below in the description. I highly suggest watching it as I show you how to set it up. But in case you haven't done this yet, you click record audio, follow the instructions to set it up. All this does is during every ride, it records the audio. That way, Murphy's Law, in case something bad happens, something goes on the ride, etc., you have an audio recording as proof. One thing I want to say as well, and this is super important, this audio is encrypted. There is no way for you to listen to it or Uber to listen to it unless you create a support ticket. And I really like that. So it's not like you're spying on people. It's not like you're recording audio to use later on. That audio only exists in an encrypted format in case you create a support ticket. One thing I do want to say, and this is just super important as like being an Uber driver 101, also get a dash cam. That's not really something I'm including on this video, but I just want to say it. Get one that films 2 ways, both the outside of your vehicle and also the inside of your vehicle. Again, not really related to the Uber driver app per se, but trust me, in case you get into an accident, which can very easily happen if you're driving more, and if you're being a rideshare driver, you can be driving more than a normal person. But in addition, if you get into a dispute with a passenger on the inside, yes, the recorded audio can help you, but having the visual component as well in terms of the dash cam footage is incredibly important. Number 4, speeding alerts. If I click the upper left-hand icon to bring up the side menu, click Account, I'm going to go down to App Settings, and then go to Speed Limit. This is pretty awesome because I'm not going to lie. I've already done a video like this about the Lyft driver app, all these unique hacks in the Lyft driver app. I have it listed below in the description if you also drive for Lyft. And I suggest to all my rideshare drivers, drive and sign up for both Lyft and Uber. In the Lyft driver app, they just give you kind of like a notification if you're driving a bit above the speed limit. Here, you have a few different options. 1, do I want to show the speed limit or not? 2, you can see right here that you can set a speeding alert, both 3, 5, and 7 miles if you're going below 55 miles an hour, or the speed limit, 55 miles per hour or above, 7, 10, or 15. I like this a lot because I feel like on the highway, for example, there are some cases where if you're going with the flow of traffic, it's probably safer for you to go, let's say, 60 or 65 if the speed limit is 55. Most people when driving on the highway usually go about 5 or 10 miles per hour above the speed limit. So you can set it like maybe 15 or 10, however you want. And this is a pretty awesome setting to get alerts any single time you're not paying attention when it comes to the speed limit. Number 5, the GPS pool switch up. So if I go up here to that sidebar again, Account, I'm going to go down to App Settings. I can then go to Navigation. This is how you can switch your navigation. Typically, it's going to be in the Uber navigation. I hate the Uber GPS. It is atrocious. There is one minor exception, though, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But I highly suggest picking Google Maps. I think Google Maps is the GOAT of GPSs. I love Google Maps. So I'm going to use Google Maps. 100%, this is what I do. There is one exception, though, and that is this. Down at the bottom, I can see navigation on pool trips. Use Uber navigation on all pool trips, aka UberX Share. I know no one likes driving for Uber Pool, UberX Share. Doing those shared rides are just a nightmare for any driver. And when it comes to the navigation, I hate to say it, this is the only exception. I might suggest turning that on. Because what happens is when you do something like Uber Pool or UberX Share, you're constantly kind of bouncing around like crazy, dropping somebody off and picking somebody up. Sometimes you have, two different or sometimes three. I don't know if they do that anymore, but back in the day, you could easily have 3 separate rides going on with 3 separate passengers at the same exact time. That's pretty hectic, I feel like. And I feel like there is something to be said that when I'm doing a ride normally, Google Maps, super easy, seamless, it adjusts for traffic. It's way better than the Uber GPS. However, when it comes to Uber Pool or UberX Share, because of the chaoticness, if I call it that, of doing a shared ride, having the Uber GPS being turned on specifically just for shared rides, in my opinion, just makes things a lot easier. Number 6, screen flashes for requests. This is an excellent feature. If I go to my sidebar again and account, I'm going to go down to app settings again and then click accessibility. Now, when I go here, I have a few different options, right? And there's mainly 2. The first one I'm going to talk about, which I just mentioned, is screen flash for requests. You can see right here that your phone will flash and play an audio alert upon receiving a request. This could be just kind of a cool feature to have. That way, when you're driving, let's say you're talking to somebody, and you want to be paying attention to any new ride that pops up and everything, you have that right there. In addition, you can also put on vibrate. I personally think it's easier to have the screen flash because I feel like for most drivers, you have a phone mount, which, by the way, I have to say this, probably the most important pro tip on this video, besides having a dash cam and everything, and signing up for both Uber and Lyft, get a phone mount. It still blows my mind in this day and age when I see a driver holding their phone like I'm doing now, and they're doing like this head bob motion while driving. You can easily get a phone mount for like $10 on Amazon. I've even gotten them at the dollar store. Just get one, right? And on that note, though, going back down to vibration, I feel like because your phone's going to be in the phone mount, I feel like it's just better, in my opinion, in terms of getting that notification to have it be on screen flash. But if you want, you can even do both. Number 7, custom voice alerts. So going back up here to account, right? It's kind of the main, I find, place for all these unique app settings I'm talking about. As you can probably tell, up at the top, I have sounds and voice. Now, when I click that, this is super helpful. First off, normal, softer, or louder, right? Pretty self-explanatory. In addition, as you can see right at the bottom, I have 4 different voice settings I could turn off or on. So for me personally, everyone's different. I hate the voice navigation. I get that it can be super helpful. If, like, say you're driving, it's like in 0.3 miles or 0.1 mile or whatever it is, take a left onto Converse Street. I personally hate the voice navigation. I feel like also, too, it always, like, plays at the worst time when you're listening to a really good song. Like the song's about to, like, drop when it comes to EDM music, or it's about to hit that really good chorus, and then it's like, now, take a left, and you're just like, oh, come on, So I feel like usually I have this off. And then I have a few different things here. And what's excellent about this is I can turn each one off or on depending on which one I want to hear. Number 8, earnings trends. This is an excellent one in order to make more money by knowing when the best rides are going to happen. Because I'm not going to lie, for some of these hacks on the Uber driver app, some of them are more for convenience, etc., etc. This one is directly related to making more money. Now, on my main kind of page here, on the bottom right, I can see a bar graph. I'm going to click that. Then, once I do, I'm then going to click See Charts. So right here, you can see the exact best places to drive as designated by the dollar amount. So you can see West Hollywood right now is the best time to drive at this exact point as I'm recording this video. Now, let's say if I want to plan for a Friday night, I can go to Fridays, and I can see how much traffic is going to be happening on average in each specific area in your city, right? So, of course, this is LA. So in LA, I can see, based off the bar graphs, on, like, say, a Friday night, okay, like Malibu, not too much, but in West Hollywood, which I will say is a huge hot spot for nightlife in LA, you know you can make way more money. And in addition, this is good not just to plan out your week of when you're going to drive, but also at this exact moment or the current moment that you are driving. If I click Monday, it's a Monday as I'm filming this video, I can see right now live of the best places to drive. This is also something I can see if I zoom out, right? This is kind of the default thing when you pull up the exact chart. So if I scroll out, I can say, all right, here are the best places to drive right now, at least the exact time that I'm filming this. So let's say if I'm in Malibu, for example, I'm probably better off going from Malibu to West Hollywood, downtown, South Los Angeles, etc., etc. And again, remember, in order to make more money, one of the best tips among a lot of different tips that I've talked about on this channel is to be in these surge pockets and be in the right areas. So you can see if I'm, let's say, in San Fernando Valley, I'm probably better off leaving, even if it takes me a little bit to commute from, let's say, San Fernando Valley to WeHo or West Hollywood. I'm better off doing so because I'm going to make more money from the rides. Number 9, event peak times. This is another big heavy hitter in order to make more money. Because when people ask me, what are the best times to drive for Uber? Morning commutes, so about 7 to 9 a.m. Evening commutes, 5 to 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday nights. That's the most kind of cliche answer, being like a rideshare driver 101. But another big thing on top of that is events. A lot of times these surges and the amount of money you're going to make from events can be way higher than, like, say, a peak Friday night, for example. Here's what I'm going to do. Go up to the top icon on the upper left again. I'm then going to click Opportunities. Now, this is another good way to plan your week. I can click each day, as you can see here, like so. Just froze for a second, right? And then in addition, I can also just scroll a bit easier. And what I'm seeing now here is any kind of event. You can see sporting event, a concert. For example, right now, at least at the exact time of this video here in LA, the Netflix is a Joke Festival is going on. I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy. And as you can imagine, these stand-up shows bring in huge crowds with very high surges. So let's see right now on Thursday, it looks like, Tom Segura is performing. Huge fan of Tom Segura, by the way. So what I can do is, first off, I can save it, being like, all right, that's going to be a good time to drive. I can hit save, and then we'll go up to saved. Boom. Now I have, let's say, the events that I personally saved where I think I can make a lot of money. But 2, if I go back down here and I click it, oh no, let me go back to Tom Segura. Although Shane Gillis and Andrew Schultz, super funny as well, so I'll say that. But if I click this, you can see at the bottom, estimated peak time, 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. or midnight. That's a good way as well, because I kind of like the fact that with this, I can even see it right here, the peak time, for Andrew Schultz and Shane Gillis, 10:30 to 11:30. For Segura, 11 p.m. to midnight. This is a good way because it's very easy to, like, say, pull up the event and see the entire time of it. And you're like, all right, but when should I actually go there? Like, when's a good time to actually go to get those high-paying rides? That is going to be your peak times. And this is a good way to plan out your week, because I'm going to be honest. Let's say on this Thursday, for example, you're probably going to make more money on this Thursday night from all of these people ordering Ubers and everything, as opposed to, like, say, a Friday night, for example. And in addition to, you could see that I can zoom out and be like, okay, it's in Inglewood. It's good to know. Let's say for Andrew Schultz, it's going to be more of, like, it looks like Central City, Echo Park, kind of near Koreatown type area. This is a good way to predict it as well. Like, so you live in Koreatown, for example, here in LA. Well, driving all the way to Inglewood, not the best drive. I'm going to be honest, bit of a nightmare. But if you live in Koreatown, and you're like, oh, wait, Schultz and Shane Gillis, they're getting out and their show's going to be ending and the peak times around 10:30 to 11:30. Boom, you do this one. Number 10, nearby places for rewards. This is a way to kind of get money back or make money from things you're doing anyway. Here's what I'm talking about. On the upper right, if I click this kind of search icon, I have a few different options here. First off, you have your destination filter if you want to use that. In addition, I could add my home address. So you can do that to, let's say, go home a lot easier. But also at the bottom, I have nearby places. Now, if I click View Map, first off, it's going to zoom out. And I can see all these different things here, from gas stations to 7-Elevens to charging ports, etc., etc. But if I click the green one at the bottom, you can see rewards. These are the gas stations I can go to get cash back. What that means is when I'm driving and I need to get gas, as everybody needs to do as an Uber driver, you're going to get money back from buying something you're going to get anyway. This is also connected to your Uber Pro account, where basically you have a bunch of different features in terms of your tier rating as an Uber driver. So if I click this gas station, for example, I can head there, and as you can see, I can get money back, or I'm going to save money buying gas, which is something I need to buy anyway. One thing I do want to say as a quick side note, you do need to link your credit card. So what happens is your credit card, if I click a link, I have to basically connect my credit card that I'm going to be using to pay for the gas with my Uber driver account. That way they can see it if it makes sense, right? Once it's linked and I buy gas, I'm going to be saving money on gas every single time. And this is a great feature, I'm not going to lie, to be able to look at all these different places. Even like say you could see a 7-Eleven, right? I can get some discounts and a lot more. Now, one great feature as well, I'll say, although not as good, which I'm going to talk about in a second, is the bathrooms. One of the hardest parts about being an Uber driver, I think that's not talked about enough, is when you're driving, and we all need to go, right? And trying to find a bathroom. So if I click the bathrooms, and I zoom out here, I'm not going to lie. Of course, I know LA, there's way more bathrooms than this, right? Way more bathrooms. Although, let's say you're in Culver City, and you got to go, you can easily pull this up and click one of these icons to then navigate to that bathroom. That being said though, one huge pro tip I have for all my drivers out there is to have bathroom addresses. I know it sounds weird, but you gotta just trust me. What I do is on my notes app on my phone, I have a bunch of addresses that I have found to be super easy, quick to get to, easy to park at. And if let's say I have to go to the bathroom, I pull up my notes app, look at all the different addresses, look at the one that is closest to me, navigate to that address, and go to the bathroom. I know it sounds weird. Again, I know it sounds weird, but this is a huge pro tip. That way, again, when you're driving and you gotta go, you already have a bunch of addresses that you've already been to and you know are very easy to use your bathroom. Another kind of like big brain pro tip on top of that I'll give is also, again, I know it sounds weird, to have the lock code. So not only do I have the addresses of the places or the easiest places to go to the bathroom, I also have the lock code. So if you look at like Starbucks's, for example, almost all of them have like a lock code on their bathroom. I'll also put that in my notes app. And this is just one pro tip I have among a lot of pro tips to not only make your driving experience better, but also to make more money. I have a video popping up right here about all my best pro tips to make the most amount of money driving. And in addition, if you also drive for Lyft, which again I suggest, sign up for both Uber and Lyft, I have a video just like this one about the Lyft driver app that is popping up here of all the best hacks in the Lyft driver app you probably didn't know.